'cause I just came to relax one
An
time.
upbeat note, something that's particularly precious in this part of West London. It's in the shadow of Grenfell Tower, and many at this Community Diversity Day lost friends and family in the fire. That includes Tarek Gotti. He's currently on disability benefit and is worried about the impact of universal credit.
To be honest, I have a lot of concern because for me, I think that's a death trap for a lot of people. We're going to be struggling to try and make ends meet, paying our bills and even putting food in our mouth, and for our children, especially a single dad like me with 3 children and a newborn. And disabilities affected me as well. I can't work, so I don't know what's going to happen waiting 5 weeks to get paid when a friend of mine has been waiting 6 months and almost committed suicide because of universal credit.
Universal credit has just been introduced here. Amber Rudd is putting the brakes on rolling it out across the rest of the country. But that's failing to reassure those people already grappling with the new system. Universal credit was introduced in this part of London less than a month ago. But Samia Badani, a community advice worker, is already getting requests for help from claimants.
So they're juggling between priorities, between council tax, payments for rent, payments for food or electricity, and they simply do not know how to juggle that. There's been no support, no financial literacy or budgeting advice for people who are vulnerable in that situation.
The new Work and Pensions Secretary, Amber Rudd, has confirmed she's scaling back the next phase of the rollout to a fraction of the 3 million claimants originally planned. In a tweet, she says, "I want to roll it out carefully. It means universal credit can proceed on time and be fit for purpose, helping people work and getting support to people quickly." It's no climb down, though, according to the Prime Minister.
It will be fully rolled out on the timetable by 2023 as was originally intended. But what I think it's important on universal credit, the reason why it's important to get this right and why we've been taking our time, why we've been ensuring that we have made changes as we've been learning through this process, is because this is a much better system than the system it replaced.
The UK's biggest food bank charity, the Trussell Trust, has welcomed today's announcement, but says 5 weeks is still too long to wait for payments for those already on universal credit. And back in North Kensington, the local Labour MP says too much damage has already been done.
Grenfell affected families who have moved to Chelsea and went to the Fulham Job Centre have had to wait 2 months, 3 months, and in one case, which I found really shocking, 5 months for any money at all, and were having to go to food banks. That should not be happening to people who have been through this terrifying experience down. It shouldn't be happening to anybody.
The government's tone may have changed, but the words remain the same. Universal credit may be far from perfect, but it's here to stay.
Joining now from Cambridgeshire is Conservative MP and member of the Work and Pensions Committee, Heidi Allen. Thanks for coming on the programme, Heidi Allen. I mean, you've got to ask yourself, haven't you, we've gone from 3 million down to 10,000. Are these 10,000 benefit claimants going to be turned into guinea pigs for a scheme that many people feel has failed?
No, and I was reflecting today on the phrase that the DWP has used for a long time, test and learn. And that word test, it was something on Twitter actually, they're quite right, that's not a very nice word because it makes you feel like a guinea pig. What has happened essentially is the DWP are going to take a year to very gently and carefully, working with charities like the Trussell Trust, with Macmillan, with Mind, with Scope, work out what the best way is to transfer people across from the old legacy benefit system like ESA and DLA, etc., how to move those across to universal credit. And Parliament essentially won't give permission for more than those 10,000 people until we're content with the process and, the best practice that we learned during that year. So it's not going to be delayed. It just means that Parliament has to give its permission again for more than that initial 10,000.
And is it fair to those 10,000 to be tested this way?
Forgive me, I didn't quite hear the question.
Is it fair to the 10,000 to be used like guinea pigs, as it were?
Well, yeah, I mean, they must not feel like guinea pigs, absolutely not. How it should work is, as I say, the DWP working and having regular contact with organisations. Take Macmillan, for example, who understand better than anybody, certainly better than the DWP, how somebody's struggling with cancer treatments and chemotherapy, how the benefit system interacts with them. And it's developing a process with the expertise of somebody like Macmillan about how should we transfer those people across. So if we do this properly, those 10,000 claimants won't even know know that they're in this first year.
Right.
It will just happen very, very seamlessly for them.
But, you know, in the broader spectrum, the universal credit was first mooted 8 years ago. You've been critical of it, you know, for many years now. Is there any point in continuing with it, frankly?
Yes, there absolutely is. You know, and I would be the first to admit, as you've just alluded, you know, there have been a lot of problems with it, and I've been the first to shout from the rooftops about them. But fundamentally, the system, when we have fixed all the issues, and there are still lots more things to fix, the 5-week wait, as the Trussell Trust have said in your report, absolutely right, we need to do something about that, and I know Amber's looking at that. But once those big issues are rectified, I believe it will be significantly better than the legacy system. Imagine you're working 16 hours and suddenly at 1 week you work 16 and a half. In the old system, you would have lost every single penny of your benefits. Now, that can't be right. Universal credit moves up and down as your income does, so it is a much more secure benefit than the old one, but there are still things absolutely that we need to fix with it.
But essentially, you now agree with the Labour Party, who's called for the whole system to be, you know, fundamentally paused, possibly even scrapped.
No, I think they want to stop it. I don't want to stop it. I just want us to take our time with it. And as Amber is rightly doing, she's listening and making sure that we fix the things that need improving.
OK, let's talk about